Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters,
and everything else in between. Well, we could do a gloom-ridden podcast because of the economic downturn.
Is that why we are a week late? Because you've been very gloomy.
I'm always gloomy. We can talk. You see, you made me laugh now. I'm trying to be gloomy, and you're making me laugh. We can talk about how the United Kingdom is teetering on the brink. The economy has just gone into free fall. But hey ho, this is a podcast about happy vibes, good times, living life king size.
So we're just going to pretend none of that is happening.
No,
and that we live in our own bubble.
We'll just talk about nice things. Anyway, there's a party going on next door and we haven't been invited. Can you hear them?
Yeah, so we would like to apologize for any inadvertent background noise. It is just our neighbors probably having their last autumnal barbecue on a Sunday.
No, you mean people having fun without us.
It's okay, they're new neighbors. They don't know us, we don't know them. Anyway, I think it's far too cold to be out in the garden at almost... Are people supposed to know what time we're recording this? And why not? It is a Sunday, it's past 9 p.m. Pitch dark outside, quite cold. So you don't normally expect people to be doing ha-ha hee-hee in their garden, but they are doing it. Anyway, yes.
You just give a monologue on absolute rubbish. They can do as much ha-ha hee as they like, it's their garden.
That's true. But are you saying that this podcast is normally nothing but absolute rubbish? You mean more than absolute rubbish?
चलो किसी और चीज के बारे में बात करते हैं.
Why? You only mentioned economy and gloom and downturn and God knows what. I am not in a gloomy mood at all because this happens to be one of the most celebratory periods in any Indian's life, I would say, or anybody from Southeast Asia, because there's so much to celebrate. All manner of festivals, but of course, especially for us Bengalis, it is the time of Durga Puja.
Well, as it's getting very late tonight on a Sunday evening, and this podcast is going to go out on a Monday,
Ashtami day.
Which is Ashtami.
Yeah.
Is it the most auspicious day in the Bengali calendar?
I feel that
of Durga Puja I'm talking about.
That, even amongst the Durga Puja festivities, I always feel Ashtami is extra special because Ashtami is one day when even people in South India have something to celebrate, and it's not just to do with Bengal, but virtually all of India has a few auspicious...
We have our Navratri, Jai Mata Di. So, and the nice thing is that I always think that because you do so many Punjabi festivals as well, you do the Karwa Chauth, the Lohri.
Yeah.
So I always enjoy going to the pandal with you.
Yes.
Having some Rasagulla, Sandesh.
Yeah. This is where it becomes very evident, painfully evident that we are one family, but we are still in Punjab and Bengal, at least on some days in a year when we have to make the effort to drag the other person into our world. But I think that is the charm of learning about other cultures, finding about...
Diwali bhi aane wali hai.
Diwali to
Dussehra is coming this week only, 1 or 2 days.
Dussehra is Vijayadashami, the last day of Durga Puja.
That's right.
And Diwali aane wali. And I think these are big festivals that, not Durga Puja per se, but Dussehra, Diwali, Holi, these are festivals that people all across India celebrate, and we've grown up doing that as well.
No, but now I feel that you really like to celebrate it. I think that you really want your kids to be rooted in your culture. Bechare, whether they like it or not, pajama kurta pehen rahe subah se.
True, but I think this is important because once they're in the right frame of mind, once they know that it's the day to wear those clothes or go to the pandal or to pray a certain way, it's not that you don't pray any other time of the year, of course you do, but I think these rituals over time come to mean a lot. I mean, look at us, when we were growing up, you would do it because that's all you've ever learned since you were a baby.
Yeah, but you enjoy doing it.
You enjoy doing it, but doing them, celebrating these festivals in India, uska apna hi maza hai. Because
I thought, Garba, Navratri, your Durga Puja, when you were young, you're going out to check out guys.
No, not so much in Durga Puja. Garba, yes, I believe that is what it is. It's more like a, where young boys and girls dress up and really get to meet each other and socialize and all the rest of it. I'm sure Durga Puja has an element of that as well. But when you're away from home, it's that much more, and you're a parent, I think it becomes more important to pass on these traditions to them. Otherwise, at the end of the day, they're neither here nor there. They're not English, but then they are British. So, what do you call your own? How do you define your identity? In your hour of crisis, who do you call out to? Who do you pray to? It could be absolutely any person, but this is just a little reaffirmation, I think, of one's faith.
And also to find out what time bhog milta hai.
हाँ, ये भी है. वो तो खैर online भी पता लग जाता है website पे. But it was fascinating because we took a break from going to our regular puja this year, and we went to, well, you tell me that growing up in London, you've been to that puja many, many times. What is London's first Durga Puja, which started in 1963?
It's technically the closest to us as well.
Yeah, in North London, it is the closest to us. And I think it is in a beautiful setting because it
But the hall is a bit small.
No, but that's what I was just coming to, that it feels small enough to feel homely, and yet it is big enough to have that spirit of community celebration, which is what Durga Puja, Navratri, all these things are. Like, you don't want to just sit in your own house and do it. That prayer you can do any day. This is about meeting others and praying together invoking the goddess and kind of, putting all your desires in front of her.
Well, every single Sunday, today is the day. No, yesterday was the day that she actually comes.
Yeah, the idol is established in the pandals.
And it's for 10 days.
It is, no, but yesterday was the 6th day, Shushti.
No, the whole thing is for 10 days.
The whole thing is for 10 days. So you celebrate the first day, which is Mahaloy. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, you don't really do anything. 6th day is when Ma actually is, takes shape and form in the pandal.
Exactly Navratri, basically, isn't it?
It is, because Navratri starts one day after Durga Puja. Nav is 9. Ours is 10 days, theirs is 9 days. But it's the same thing. The various avatars, if you will, of Ma Durga, Sherawali, Santoshi Ma, Durga Ma.
अंग्रेजी स्टाइल में बोला avatars.
हाँ, तो अवतार. तो वही है कि नाम चाहे कुछ भी रखो, गरबा कहो या Durga Puja.
There's many other festivals. We're just saying Punjabi, the Bengali one, but there's many more.
Because the ones we are most familiar with, the ones that we have grown up celebrating. So yeah, I think it must be an age thing, and especially the fact that we live outside of India. The older you get, the older your children get as well. You want them to naturally gravitate to these things and not be forced to do it as they are when they are young. And I think it's very important to have that one person, one god, goddess, idol, power, spiritual being, call it what you will, to know that there's somebody higher than you.
Someone to believe in.
Someone to believe in orchestrating this whole thing, and that you could turn to them in your hour of need anywhere, anytime. That is a beautiful thing, I think. What else?
As Journey said, don't stop believing.
Yeah. Who said? It's a Journey song. Oh. What else is there? You're staring at a blank sheet. Have you already...
I didn't write anything down today.
Yeah. Have we...
But you know something? We're talking about Punjabis, Bengalis. I'm very modernistic in a way. I'm not that old school Punjabi like my friends or my dad. This has got nothing to do with puja, by the way. But I realized the other day, because I went to a wedding, but there's a certain sect of my friends and my dad also who like a drink. There's no doubting that. But once...
let's just rephrase that. All Punjabis like a drink. There's not a certain sect of Punjabis who like a drink. But there's a certain section of Punjabis...
Don't stereotype everyone. Really, Peter.
No, why? It's like saying, oh, you Bengalis like a Roshagulla. We like being stereotyped. Go on.
Okay. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not like the old school ones, because once they drink, and they don't eat anything. And once they start eating...
You mean they don't have starters?
No. Once they start eating, then they don't drink. And I've seen this with all my friends. I mean, some of my friends, I remember, I never see them eat. And, we'd go to other friends' weddings or associates' wedding, and they'd just be in the car park.
Drinking away?
Well, basically.
Now, so what you're trying to say, that many people don't eat and drink at the same time?
Yeah. Once they've finished their drink, only then they eat. Once they start eating, they don't drink again. But I've come from this culture, maybe it's a British thing, where when you get a roast chicken or whatever, you also get a glass of wine or a Guinness with it, where you eat and drink at the same time.
So what do you do in these Punjabi do's?
I do what I have to do. I eat and drink at the same time. I mean, first I'll drink with them all, then I'll go back in and drink some more.
But that kind of makes it a bit harder for those... Suppose you're socializing with people who don't drink. So do they have to wait for you to finish your drink and then come and eat, or do you just leave them in one corner to, enjoy their drink and really have their fill?
I think you haven't really been to a Punjabi wedding then.
For a long time I haven't, no. I've been to many Punjabi weddings in this country where I don't think it's that rigid at all. But so you're saying that you're not really a Punjabi?
Yeah.
When it comes to food and drink?
Correct.
You like your drink, but you like your food just as much, so you like to combine it and save time.
I'm quite adaptable.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, fantastic. What else are we talking about?
How can I miss out the radio nominations once again? The Asian Media Awards. I don't know how many times you've been nominated now. You're like like Glenn Close in the Oscars.
Oh, you mean Glenn Close and No Cigar?
Exactly. You keep getting nominated, but तोहफा तो कभी देखा नहीं मैंने.
Well, अब तोहफा मिले या ना मिले, Manchester तो जाना ही है, because I think it's that one annual pilgrimage where you get to go and meet colleagues from the industry, people who you normally don't run into, or people who you don't necessarily get on with at other times, let's put it that way. But I think it's one night of great camaraderie and bonhomie amongst those who are part of the British Asian media scene. It's always good to be nominated, I suppose. I always like to believe...
We went last year for this podcast.
For the podcast, yes. We haven't even got a nomination this year for the podcast. And strangely, or quite proudly for me, I suppose, I'm the only one who's got the nomination from my station. And my station, of course, has got... is on the short list for Station of the Year. So it is a heavy mantle to carry. But as you're saying, it's
Talking about mantle, I heard Hilary Mantel passed away. That's quite a sad thing.
She was considered quite an academic and a historian and a prolific writer, right? I know people know her for Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies.
That's a very hard book to read. I have to admit that I started it and I never finished it.
It won many awards, right? But
it won the Booker.
Yeah, I know. But was it purely for its historical research? How can a book which is the size of a doorstopper be that gripping from end to end? Clearly it was to many people, right?
People always talk very highly about it.
Yeah, I suppose there is...
I've got a feeling she won the Booker twice, actually.
A lot to be said for...
Dame Hilary Mantel.
Intellectual curiosity, and to be able to put... Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies, they were both... It's the history of the monarchy, right?
It is, I think.
Or is it the history of the country? Yeah, it is. A very detailed, very beautiful account of something that the nation has been dwelling on. These are
the kind of books that I have to watch as a TV series.
Yeah, but it's going to be... Yeah, you can imagine it on Netflix or Amazon Prime.
I've got a feeling they made one, actually.
There was a TV series, you're right. Wolf Hall did have a TV series, but I think even that we gave up after a couple of episodes because it was it's quite dark as well, I think, right?
I only mentioned it because the word mantle came into my head. Now, this is what happens when you don't have anything written down, just a blank piece of paper.
Yeah. But just to mention that we are very, very sorry that we missed our episode last week, and we're doing this 1 week late because October, November, December, this year especially with two boys, GCSE, A-levels and all the rest of it, it's proving to be extremely hectic. We're checking out universities, checking out schools, checking out courses, doing our own stuff. There's festivities, there's radio awards, there's this, there's that, socializing, working. There's a lot going on. There's a lot on our plate.
This sounds like a pre-planned excuse.
We had every intention of recording last week as we do, but I was working all through last weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Isn't there a famous Hindi phrase, like a bad workman blames his tools? Aangan tera.
नाच न जाने आंगन टेढ़ा.
नाच न जाने आंगन टेढ़ा.
तो जो भी है अब, लेकिन हम ये जानते हैं कि हमारा ये पॉडकास्ट एक हफ्ते लेट है और उसके लिए हम आपसे तहे दिल से माफी मांगते हैं. आगे?
Bas, you choose a topic, we'll talk about it.
You want to talk about some of the Bollywood films that have come out? People pitting one against the other. Vikram Vedha, Ponniyin Selvan 1. These are the two big films that were meant to be not just pan-Asian, but they are meant to take the film industry, give the film industry a bit of hope that not all is lost.
Though if anyone wants to hear the be-all and end-all of Bollywood stories, they should tune into your other podcast. Even I hear it now and then to hear what's happening in Bollywood.
And also my radio show.
And also your radio show.
Yeah. But
I was going to say, it's been about 10 minutes you haven't mentioned your radio show.
Yes, we haven't... 10 minutes ho gaye already. We haven't seen either, so I hate reviewing anything based on what others are saying because that's not really a very first-hand authentic review. But
so what was your thing about Vikram Vedha?
Yeah, a very clear picture has emerged, because...
Say it's not doing as well as people expected it to do.
A, it's not doing as well. B, they are saying that if you've seen the South Indian version, it is an exact copy.
They're saying that one is better, actually.
Yeah, so they're saying that there's absolutely no need for these people to spend so much money, hire two of our top actors, and make something which has already been made so beautifully, So that's what most people are saying. That if you've not seen it, then it might be a very enjoyable film. But because we live in a day and age where all the big films from North, South, East, West of India are all available on streaming platforms.
And I've also heard if you want to watch PS1,
yeah,
it is most advisable to watch it in Tamil with subtitles.
Wow, really? But you know what? Both these films, of course, people are saying Hrithik is phenomenal, Saif nailed it, VFX wow, action wow. In terms of Ponniyin Selvan, Ash drop dead gorgeous. Oh, what a twist.
Is that a Mani Ratnam film?
It is a Mani Ratnam. These are standard things that people are saying and commenting on things which we knew would be true even before the films came out. So no one's actually ecstatic about either. Even Ponniyin Selvan, they are saying, is, it's a good film. It's a Mani Ratnam film. But it's nothing outstanding and exceptional. This is not in your Bombay Dil Se Guru territory at all. So people are being very diplomatic. But one thing I loved, and maybe because they are both pan-Indian films, they both have a strong South Indian influence. Well, Ponniyin Selvan is completely South Indian. And Vikram Vedha is a remake of a South Indian by the same...
Ponniyin Selvan is a famous couple or a love story?
No, Ponniyin Selvan apparently is the story of the kingdom of the Chola kingdom. So the Cholas, the Cheras, the Pandyas in ancient Indian history. These are the three kingdoms. This is not humne bhi padha hai, right?
Even I've...
So it is a story of the Chola kingdom, and it generally about all the intrigue, the games that people play in court, the struggle for power, all of that. That's what it is, and it is based on Kalki Krishnamurthy's 1955 six-part novel, which people say is quite a seminal work in Tamil literature. It's a fantastic six-part novel which talks about the kingdom and all the, it's like any other story of any other dynasty. If you look at even British history, right? The amount of intrigue, the amount of power play, the amount of, affairs and murders and assassinations and what people would not do to cling on to the throne. It is pretty much a rough, translation of what goes on in a kingdom.
I'm sorry, you said Chola. And all I can think of is Baturas now.
Oh, God. But what I liked about the two films clashing at the box office was A, there wasn't much hype over it, because B, both sets of filmmakers made an effort to reach out to the other person and say, good luck. We hear very good things about you. I hope both of us do well. So Vikram Vedha was made by Gayatri and Pushkar, both Gayatri and Pushkar, especially Pushkar. And on the other side, Jayam Vijay is the main man in Ponniyin Selvan. All of them have been saying some wonderful things about each other on social media.
One good thing they're doing in India is they're trying to bring the ticket prices down.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep it at 100 rupees.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether it's good or whether it's needed, because otherwise they just wouldn't be able to sustain themselves. Bollywood has come to its senses.
If a family of four go out, it's rather expensive.
Yeah, in a multiplex, you're looking at spending 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 rupees if a family of 4 or 5 are going out for one night in your posh multiplex.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And also, I believe they had something like National Cinema Day recently.
And don't forget, it's hard-earned money as well.
Yeah. So they declared one day National Cinema Day. I think it was the 23rd of September. On which day, every ticket in India, right across India, in participating cinemas sold for 75 rupees, and that was a big success. Suddenly movies like Brahmastra and all ended up adding a lot of money, which normally would not have probably come to them had it not been for National Cinema Day. So that was another thing they realized, that bringing the ticket prices down is not just a good thing to do, but it is very much needed to be able to pull people back into the cinema.
Exactly, otherwise you're just going to wait for it to come on digital platforms.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that the content is just not riveting enough now for people to want to spend those 2-3-4,000 rupees ek raat mein, to go and watch one film. So again, it boils down to OTT versus big screen, and OTT actually, it's not that OTT is not cluttered with rubbish, of course it is, but I think there are enough things there is enough to cater to a niche audience. So whether you want comedy or a thriller or a remake or a drama or a rom-com, there's something for everyone.
I believe this week you're going to a Mehndi function.
I am.
And you have to learn some dance steps.
Yes.
I was just, I just remember this because you told me last week. But I haven't seen you practice, do a single dance.
I've just been looking at that YouTube video. I have to now get down to it and practice as well. I told my friend, I said, look, if you don't want the choreography to be completely ruined, I would love to do it. She said, no, I want you there. So let's see. It should be fun.
It should be fun.
Yes. So the festivities continue. The celebrations continue. We hope to be able to speak to you in 2 weeks' time. Although, are we off to Manchester in 2 weeks' time? Something like that, right? 2-3 weeks' time. We've still got a lot of planning and prep to do in terms of other things before we head off to the awards. Unfinished business to finish, projects to tie up. A lot of school, college, university related stuff to look at. But thank you so much for tuning into the podcast and for following us and for making us so proud of all the numbers that we see very often when we look at the analytics, when we bothered to look at the analytics. It's always wonderful to know that so many people from across the world are tuning in.
And don't forget to find us on your favorite platforms.
And on social media as
You
well.
think I've learned. By looking at the favorite app.
Yeah.
I hear other podcasts. Find us on your favorite platforms.
Yep.
So might be very bold.
And on your favorite apps.
And on your favorite apps. And if you want to leave a review, rate, whatever, feel free. We're most obliged. We'll be most obliged.
Until next time.
Till next time. Ciao.
Bye-bye.